So talk about how long you've had season tickets, when you first got them, and why you're a Gopher fan.
I'm Newman Olson from Secaucus, Minnesota. I had season tickets for Minnesota football for 50 years. Purchasing my first tickets in 1962 after they'd gone to the Rose Bowl. Prior to that, I'd also followed Minnesota football since my parents were both graduates during the glory years of the 30s. My first game was in 1949, and I'd attended football at Minnesota football games all the way up into the 60s when I finally felt I could afford to get season tickets. Started out with seats in the end zone, of course, because everybody was enthusiastic after our double two times in the Rose Bowl, but unfortunately I'm still waiting after 50 years for a return. At the age of 75, hopefully it'll be in the next few years.
It's going to happen sometime within the next 50 years, don't you think?
Well, I hope so. I'm hoping it happens within the next 5 to 10 years.
Exactly. Yeah. So your parents were actually, did you say students or attendees?
They were graduates of the university back in the 30s.
Back in the 30s. So they would have been a part and witness to the Bierman era with the national championships then. And did they tell you stories of what that was like?
Well, naturally, and then of course back in those days no TV, so we used to spend Saturdays listening to Gopher football, and got to know all the Big Ten fight songs, and I don't know, one thing led to another, and we always had fairly good teams back in the Bierman years.
Yes. So what are your thoughts on this year's team or the experience now at TCF Bank Stadium?
I've enjoyed all 50 years. Some disappointments, but I've seen some great games, and of course I've come down here with good friends. I've got a friend that couldn't make it today that I came down with that's followed Minnesota football since the 30s. He's now 96 years old, named Neil Gillis, and we came down here for about 20 years. And now I come down with other people. Yeah. I know Neil's at home watching the game just as enthusiastically as he was back in the 30s.
And could you list 1 or 2 or 3 highlights of what you've seen over the last 50 years? Anything come to mind?
Well, the highlight, of course, was I think it was in '77 when we beat Michigan when they were ranked first in the country. The low light would probably be the defeat by Wisconsin a few years ago, and with the block punt in the end zone. And of course, I've gone to a number of bowl games, and it's hard to forget the defeat down in Arizona when we were ahead by 31 points. Lots of excitements, both good and bad, but always the team gave a good effort. And I think that, as you see, we have many loyal fans that will follow the team. So good time, tailgating, good friends, good football, and a great atmosphere now that we're back on campus.